At Starbucks, we've more than doubled paid parental leave, now up to 18 weeks. Which means Starbucks baristas can spend more time with the best company they know, their families. At Starbucks, benefits like parental leave are just the start.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Contentful. Marketers, you know that feeling when your creative clicks? When that social post sends engagement through the roof? When your outside-of-the-box campaign hits ROI positive? When a personalized homepage turns prospects into customers? It's utter marketing bliss. Contentful helps you create tailored omni-channel experiences without working overtime. No stress, no limits, only possibilities. Get the feels at Contentful.com.
Big news. Sephora is now on Uber Eats. So if you find yourself facing a beauty emergency, like needing a last-minute gift, or you're just out of your favorite mascara, again, don't panic. We got you. Order now and get $10 off on Sephora orders of $50 or more on the Uber Eats app. Order now. Offer ends October 30th. One order per customer. Additional terms apply. See app for availability. Delivery fees may apply.
Experience a membership that backs your business journey with American Express Business Platinum. When you pay with membership rewards points for all or part of an eligible flight booked with a qualifying airline through Amex Travel, you can get 35% of those points back, up to 1 million points back per calendar year. American Express Business Platinum. There's nothing like it. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum.
Guys, I found my calling.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, I figured it out.
You don't sound too good.
That's part of it. My calling led to this Doc Rivers situation. We have to have one member of the team with a froggy voice at any given time.
I hear it now, man. You sound like you just blew a massive lead in an elimination game, and now you're perplexed.
Hold on, let me get the matching face for the audio audience.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
They really enjoyed that, all those listeners out there. But guys, as a big man, basketball's always been controlled by the guards, the dribblers. They decide when to pass to you. But once you get them in the water, once it becomes pool basketball, dribbling no longer matters, and being the big man is all that counts.
Oh, wow. A little pool basketball action, Mace?
Little pool basketball action.
You post up right by the rim and just, throw it down.
Throw it up to big man.
I left the rim every once in a while. You know, I'll take a little stroll and then come crashing back in, but I have Nikola Jokic arms right now. I get it.
Oh,
whoa.
Stripes?
I understand how it happens. You're in there mixing it up, you're putting it in the basket, and then all of a sudden you've got cuts and bruises all up and down your biceps and triceps.
You look like Freddy Krueger on your arms, slashed up.
Mostly bruises, but I get where Nikola is coming from now. I understand it now, some might say.
And he's a water polo player.
There you go.
Like, he is a pool basketball player. The best ever to do it.
It's the European version. Like, you guys ever watched netball? Ever watched netball?
No.
So netball's like basketball, except the rim doesn't have a backboard, and I don't think they're allowed to dribble. But it's this weird thing where you see, like, they'll pass, and then someone will be, like, framing their shot for, like, a strong 3 to 4 seconds before releasing.
Is this in the water or is this on hardwood?
No, netball's on hardwood.
Oh.
It's an Olympic sport.
What? No.
Netball, look it up. I like to think that water polo is like the netball of the ocean, or the swimming pool, I should say.
What I have to figure out here, though, is I don't understand the connection between you losing your voice and playing pool basketball. Are you, like, screaming like you're King Kong out here?
He was yelling.
There's a lot of yelling. Drown him! That was a big technique, was to drown someone, or to splash someone in the face, or to just bear hug him and tackle him and throw him out of the way. Those are the 3 main techniques of pool basketball.
That's the defense, huh?
Yeah. Not a whole lot of, like, scheme or switching or any of that, but raw physicality. I've been putting all of that physicality wordplay to use, and I did it this weekend in the pool. Dominated.
Doesn't sound like it.
Well, he did, but at a cost.
Yeah, but he's yelling, drown him. so much that he lost his voice.
Yeah, a lot of people drowned.
The guy you're drowning, is he still with us or did you drown him?
That wasn't just one guy.
8 men enter the pool, 1 man exits, and it's me.
You should hear the other guys. Well, you can't.
Someone who's yelling it at his teammates.
Drown him!
But I'm on your side.
Drown him!
My assignment: uncover why the association inspires more conspiracy theories in volume and salience than any other U.S. sport.
You've heard of the Illuminati.
The truth is out there, but so are lies.
Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them.
The NBA has always been controlled by about 8 people.
Denial is the most predictable of all human responses.
If you're only using 10% of your brain, you don't even know that you're using 10% of your brain.
The NBA Illuminati.
If coincidences are just coincidences, why do they feel so contrived?
The Illuminati.
But you start to follow the money, and you don't know where the f*** it's going to take you.
It is unspoken. They have influence among other players.
The NBA Illuminati.
I don't have time for your convenient ignorance.
Maybe I'm a conspiracist now as well.
That's all it took. Oh, we got books, we got schools. You saw a video on YouTube.
Why my eyes, sir? You've never used them before.
We are the Basketball Illuminati.
This is Basketball Illuminati. I'm Tom Haberstroh, and as always, I'm joined by the 5-star Illuminati generals, Amin Elhassan and producer Anthony Mays.
Members of the Illumination can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/countthedings. You can also show your support by wearing a Third Eye hat or a Basketball Illuminati shirt or hoodie. Check out the link in the show notes or go to the Count the Dings store on Cotton Bureau and keep that third eye open.
We're going to have Steve Jones, Pork Chop.
Chop.
I don't think we actually talked to him about his nickname.
We didn't call him Chop, no.
Yeah, we did that for a whole Haberstroh episode a couple years ago. We dug into the Pork Chop nickname and where it came from. Shouts to Steve Jones.
If you're not following him on all the social media platforms, do so. He's Steve Jones 20 on X. I'm pretty sure he's that on Blue Sky. Former video coordinator, assistant coach in the NBA, is now an analyst at 342 Productions, Dunker Spot co-host with Nikias Duncan. This is going to be a fun episode. We're going to talk about the Indiana-Cleveland series.
Yes.
Golden State, Houston.
Golden State, Minnesota.
Wow. Golden State, Minnesota. Yeah, totally screwed that up. Thank you. I'm going to go drown myself.
Drown him!
Drown him! Son, don't drown me! We're going to talk about all that with Steve.
You all think I'm late. Well, I'm not late. And I'm going to stay right here and fight for this lost cause. Even if this room gets filled with lies like these. And the Taylors and all their armies come marching into this place. Somebody will listen to me.
There's no better way to overpower a trickle of doubt than with a flood of naked truth.
But the complexity and the gray lie not in the truth, but what you do with the truth once you have it.
What is true and right is true and right for all.
You and I both know that that's just not the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Too messy. Keeps them up nights.
I'm here because in the end, the truth is worth the risk.
Speak a little truth and people lose their minds.
I'm a grown man, you can tell me the truth.
Why is it people who want the truth never believe it when they hear it?
So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something really outrageous. I'm going to tell the truth.
All right, Steve, welcome to Basketball Illuminati. It's great to see you again, buddy. How are you?
I'm good. I feel good. I feel great. Happy to be here. Ready to talk some hoop. Got my third eye open, et cetera, et cetera. Reds to go.
Well, don't go through the motions, man. Connecting dots.
No mistakes, no coincidences.
No coincidences.
No, you'll prove that with this discussion, right? You don't even need to say it. You just hear, and people can tell that you're part of the Illumination, which you are. You're already part of the Illumination. And my first question to you is, Game 7, the 2 greatest words in sports, or is it the greatest set of one number and one word in sports?
What?
I think it's the 2 greatest words in sports, but they're weird. They're always weird. They're their own game. Nothing else that happened before it really matters. Buddy Hield goes off.
I think I think 7 is a number. I think 7 is a number. It's not a word.
Are we going literal?
Yeah, I don't want to divert this too much, Tom, but Zach and I had a very heated argument about numbers being math. And he was adamant that numbers are not math, they're symbols. And I was adamant that they're symbols for math. They don't mean anything without math involved. But we can move on. I'm with you. Numbers, 7 is a number.
It always throws me off when it's like Game 7, the greatest 2 words in sports. And I'm like, I kind of feel like it's one word and one number.
What if you
throws
spell
me
it
off?
out? Does it make a difference?
Always within.
But if you say
Steve,
game SEVEN,
Steve, you're preparing for Lionel Hollins, Dave Yeager. You're preparing like a Game 7 scouting report. Are you writing out the word 7, or are you just doing the number 7?
Number 7.
Yeah.
But you're also not writing out. Hold on, Steve. You're not writing out game either. You put G7, don't you?
Also true.
Also true.
Checkmate. Very true.
Checkmate.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right, fine. So it's not even words. There's 0 words. It's just the greatest letter plus number in sports is Game 7. And we got a great one with Warriors and Rockets at Houston. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about Game 1, Cleveland and Indiana, a stunner. Cleveland gets upset in Game 1. But can you explain to the audience a little bit? Your background is not just an incredible follow on social media, breaking down the X's and O's with clips and your analysis, or you've got your own podcast with Nikias, the Dunker Spot, which is part of the 342 Productions. You're not just like us that are just sitting here, Amin from his front office and Maze and I from just podcasting and whatnot. You actually were an assistant coach.
Yeah, I worked in the video room, did some coaching. So, I mean, I think I try to like come from a different perspective with it and try and like give some of the context of what goes on, if that makes sense. So I did a lot of playoff prep. So I understand what goes into like a game plan. So when people are like throwing Jalen Green over the top rope, I understand the performance is bad. I also understand there are a whole bunch of people who spent a lot of time. How do we make Jalen Green look as bad as humanly possible? Like there's a flip side to this where we always talk about the offense and the production. I'm like, there are people whose job it is to make other people's lives hell. And when they do it well, we should probably lean on that and be like, hey, they did a good job. Hey, why does James Harden struggle in Game 7s? Shout out to my guy, but hey, you're not going to do the things you do well. That's like, there's game plans for this. We take things away. So it's like, that to me is important. I feel like that can be missing sometimes. Not that it's always needed, but I just like the additional context of like, for example, I'm just going on a rant. A lot of Amin Thompson praise, right? Very well deserved. Great series. He's on the rise. I understand it. I mean, Tom, has he seen anything that looks like a game plan from a defense?
No.
You're not on the report. You're not on the sheet.
There are certain guys where, and I'll use Jaren Jackson Jr. as an example because I got in arguments about this during the season. He had a great year. My point was, I don't know if they're spending more than 5 minutes on him in the coaching meeting. Not that he can't hurt you, not that he can't beat you, but hey, force him left, take care of the drives, we'll figure it out. Now that Ja Morant guy, what are we going to do with him in pick and roll? How are we going to defend their cuts? Like conceptually, you're either in this box of you're playing so well that we have to plan against you, especially playoff time. That's the highest compliment. Or pretty good. I think we can survive.
Yeah, well, I want to know because Amin Thompson, he had some incredible plays this postseason and the offensive talent's all there. The offensive potential is all there where he had that behind the back, like lay-in around Steph, and it was just like this ridiculously athletic, skilled play. You can make the argument that he's a great postseason performer already, but in terms of the ceiling of the Houston Rockets, you can argue this is a guy that is not close to a finished product, and that's exciting. But Jalen Green, you mentioned it, 38 points in Game 2. Who is the guy that you're game planning the most, Steve? Like when you're going into a matchup against the Houston Rockets, I don't know if it's Thompson. I don't know if it's Jalen Green. Like, does that mean that they don't have a number one guy?
They don't have a number one A1 guy, but it's probably how do we make Şengün uncomfortable and what do we do to disrupt Jalen Green's flow and his rhythm? I thought that's what Golden State did. And he has to learn how to read the game, which is part of a young guard's journey. In my opinion, you play your way into a different coverage or a different mindset, and he just didn't really make the reads. The Golden State never let him get comfortable. They let Fred get comfortable, and like they're like, Fred, here's your drop. And I was watching, I was like, Fred, you got to take these shots. Fred took those shots, and then Golden State was like, hey, let's not do that anymore. You're not going to beat us. Let's do some different things there. But like with Jalen Green, the tough part was like, Draymond Green is so good when he's at the level of a screen of not necessarily telling you what he's going to do. And so for Jalen Green, you could see he was in automatic mode. Oh, he's up here. Cool. I could turn the corner probably because the drives have been there. Oh, God, this is a switch. Mm-hmm. Now, this is where him being young doesn't help him because he did his job by getting the Draymond switch. I should probably get this to Big Goon. I did my portion. No, I'm going to shoot or attack. Error. high pick and roll. He's trying to look and see where they at. They go try and go high pick and roll. They jumped him early in the series at times. So now he's trying to back dribble. It's like, no, you have to accept that trap. That's your job. You got 2 on the ball. Get it out and let them play. He tried it in game 7, had a good pocket pass, had a couple that weren't so good pocket passes, but that's where he hasn't ever been in that scenario. And it's not an excuse, but it's like, yeah, they tortured that man because he's never seen these lights before.
First time at the rodeo. It's the first time at the rodeo. Steve, I'm curious about like the concept of adjustments in a game 7, because if you think about what Houston did to get back in the series, they started playing Steven Adams a lot more. They started to kind of impose their will on the offensive glass, and that worked. It worked tremendously for them. And then in game 7, you could argue that that was a liability, that they should have gone away from Steven Adams. They should have played probably Jabari Smith a whole lot more. And what was their advantage ended up being kind of part of their undoing, particularly on the offensive end, because not only could they not get anything going on primary offense, but he wasn't quite the offensive rebounding threat, whether that's effort by the Warriors, whether the scheme's different, whatever reason, he wasn't quite the same impact. And once that was the case, it was pretty much checkmate for the Rockets on the offensive end. And so as you're watching the game real time, are you yelling, man, you got to make a switch? Or are you saying, wait a second, let it bear out because it's worked so well for the last few games?
That's the tough part about when you find something in a series, as far as like everyone likes to talk about a lineup or this is the way, this is the thing. Okay, but what if that doesn't work anymore? You are now out of things. So I think for me, real time watching it, my concern level came once it looked like Golden State started to figure out a couple things against that zone. Because Houston was lights out with that zone. They were passing bodies off. They were matched up. It was delightful, fun to watch. They were just causing the Warriors hell. Every gap was closed. There's a couple plays where things started to open up. You know, Jimmy Butler cuts back door at the same time that Steph cuts back door. Shouldn't happen at the same time. But boy, the matchups were tilted. And it's like, oh no. There's another one. I think Buddy Hield passed up a 3, but it's like those were openings they didn't have before. So if that's not going to be good, that's a problem. And then I think the other portion was what they kind of did to Fred as far as Draymond messing with him as far as I'm going to be back and I'm going to be a drop. We'll turn into a late switch. You're not getting the pull-up 3 as much. Then it's like, okay, I don't know if y'all have a thing offensively. And the thing that gives you the wiggle room is also getting hit. So that's where it's like, okay, we need Şengün to be able to attack these switches. He put Pods under the rim once. I don't know how many times it happened again, and he didn't have fun with Draymond. That's probably where the number one guy conversation enters, because what do we lean on? So I thought Jabari maybe could have got more minutes, but it's hard when a big part of why you came back was Steven Adams. So it's like, and your identity is defense anyway. So if we can get these stops, we're going to give ourselves a chance. I think they rolled the dice as much as they could. And I thought it was a decent comeback in the third. They just didn't have enough offense. And that Golden State took away the things they found. So they were right back in the mud, the bad tempo, oh no, someone's open.
Why is Draymond such a savant defensively in your mind? Because like Alpi tried to get like one-on-one ISOs, like felt like he might have had a matchup there to exploit, and Draymond he's like a wall, dude.
He's a maniac. He does his work early. He's not going to let you catch in your spots. Off ball, we know he's very good at that. But as far as the Şengün portion, if Draymond pushes the catches out, he's going to be able to eat at least one or two of the back downs. So now what's your counter if you're not burying him or getting deep post position? It's just like, when small guards are able to guard like a Karl-Anthony Towns at times, it's just positioning. Like if I push you out far enough, I'm strong enough to be able to take whatever your hit is. If you catch it closer, we're in trouble. But I'm going to bet that you're not going to do that. And I'm going to be able to cause havoc. And then the mixture, that's the other part of that two big lineup. Draymond can be on Şengün, but then Draymond could also be on Steven Adams and Rome and make sure to tell everyone where they need to be. And that's his value. But I just don't think Şengün was able to get to the spots he needed to really poke at Draymond.
So when you go ahead, Tom.
I was gonna jump to Timberwolves, so go ahead.
Me too. Same thing. Same thing. So okay, so
they just back cut at the same time.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Double back cut. I appreciate it.
Who are you gonna pass to? It's gonna be Amin, right?
I'm swinging to the wing.
You just tried to grab the ball again. So what's going on?
Hello, listener. It's Producer Maze here to talk to you about Quince and their cookware. Cooler nights mean cozy meals at home, and Quince's cookware has made fall cooking so much more enjoyable. Their pieces deliver the quality and performance of luxury brands, but at a price that makes sense. And they look gorgeous on the stovetop, too. No matter what item you need to complete your kitchen, Quince has you covered. With 5-ply stainless steel pots and pans, nonstick skillets, chef-quality knives, and even ceramic bakeware, which is perfect for cozy casseroles or Sunday roasts. And when you look at these prices, you might think, how is Quince doing this? How do they deliver high-quality items similar to high-end brands that are half the price? Well, let me tell you, they partner directly with ethical top-tier factories to cut out the middlemen and pass the savings on to you. And it's not just cookware. I got myself some bath sheets. That's right. When you're a tall man, you have to use bath sheets, not bath towels from Quince. It's like drying off with a cloud. It's incredible. Upgrade your kitchen for cozy fall meals with premium cookware from Quince. Go to quince.com/dings for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/dings, DINGS, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dings. Hello, listener. It's Producer Maze here to talk to you about Kindred. Now, close your eyes like Owen Wilson during a job interview and imagine a way to travel that feels personal, comfortable, and connected without the price tags and the sterile feelings of hotels or short-term rentals. Now open your eyes and stop using your imagination because Kindred has made it very real. That's exactly what they do. Kindred is a members-only home swapping network. It's not a hotel. It's not a short-term rental. It's a smarter way to travel where each stay feels like home. Here's how it works. With Kindred, your home is your ticket. You earn credits by hosting fellow Kindred members, and then you use those credits to stay in over 220,000 homes in more than 100 cities worldwide. There are no hotel costs or rental fees, just the credits that you've earned. Every stay comes with white glove service, 24/7 trip support, and $100,000 in host protection. Make it easier for you to travel and enjoy yourself and not worry about details. I've used Kindred and I found an amazing home for a weekend getaway in an idyllic location with amazing views and great ambiance. It had everything I needed. And the best part was, it cost me $0. So apply now at livekindred.com and use code DINGS to join for free. Plus, you'll earn 5 nights of travel credit just for signing up. That's right, that's 5 whole nights for free at livekindred, KINDRED.com, code DINGS, DINGS, livekindred.com, code DINGS.
Listener, listen up. This is important, okay? I'm going to try to save you some money here. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. You may think like, oh, that's bad. No contracts. No monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Here's why I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for $15 a month. You heard that correctly. $15 per month. Ditch overpriced wireless and the jaw-dropping monthly bills. And of course, there are all these hidden fees and stuff, but at Mint Mobile, plans start at $15 per month. All the plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text. You're not doing like weekend and nighttime minutes or anything like that. And it's delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone. Don't have to get a new phone. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. I switched months ago. People have asked, did you actually switch? Yes, I actually switched months ago, and I don't know what to do with all this extra money. I've cheated the system here. I've rigged something. This is an Ocean's 11 situation where I'm stealing wireless from Mint. That's how good a deal it is. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/dings. That's DINGS. That's mintmobile.com/dings. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
This episode is presented by State Farm. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like expecting the leadership of a team captain on the football field, but getting a sea captain. You wouldn't settle for just anything for your team. Shouldn't it be the same for your insurance? So don't settle for just any insurance when you can go with a leader. State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Steve, when you think about the T-Wolves, and they had some success as well in their first round series, playing two big lineups, playing Rudy and Julius Randle out there, or Rudy and Naz Reid at the same time. Do you see the same thing playing out in the Golden State series, or are they more likely to throttle down with their lineups to match up with Golden State?
Ooh, see, I think it'll be similar, but it'll be different. And I think it's because the versatility of Minnesota's bigs, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Where Naz Reid and Julius Randle together are two bigs, but are they? And right. So it's not necessarily going to have the same defensive impact, but it's going to be a lot different offensively as far as having to deal with those two together. So I think mindset will be similarly. Golden State may feel more comfortable attacking those two. But they're going to have to deal with them on the other end. I think one of the big differences has been Julius Randle and his drive and the force that he has with them. I think the Western Conference got really comfortable and in a rhythm with, we're putting a wing on Karl Anthony Towns, we'll switch, pushes catch outs, we're fine. Julius Randle's a little bit of a different force as far as, hey, if I have a matchup I like, you're coming to the block with me. You're coming to the elbow with me. I'm going to hit you in the chest and we're going to see what happens. I might draw a foul, but that's where I think the difference will be. I think it's going to be interesting to see how Minnesota adjusts to this series. I was thinking about it. You played the Lakers. You knew they were switching, right? Well, we know you're going to show help on Anthony Edwards. We kind of found a rhythm. We're going to switch on the other end. Golden State got a lot of movement. So they got to kind of get back to playing defense in a different way. But at the same time, they can put Steph in action. They can put Buddy Hield in action. So they can still kind of poke at things. So I'm intrigued to see how they try to deal with it. But that culture shock of the start of a series is always interesting to me.
Yeah, with the first 5 minutes of a game, you're watching what? Warriors, Timberwolves. What are you looking for?
Ooh, the attempt in the matchups. So I like to see what you're trying to do. Who are you trying to put on who? Are you switching off ball right away? Are there certain actions you're not switching right away? What's Rudy doing in pick and roll? What's he doing off ball? Is he going to put two on the ball against Steph on a pin down? What's that going to open up? How do you treat Jimmy Butler? Is that the Jaden McDaniels matchup? How is Steph going to guard pick and roll? Probably a show and recover. Who are you starting? What's Draymond doing pick and roll against Anthony Edwards? What's their help look like? So just those kind of things are rolling through my mind, just to kind of put it in the back of my head, okay, this was the attempt. Did it work? And if it didn't work, what are they going to try and do now to counter against it?
What do you think their initial assignments are going to be?
I would be surprised.
Does Kevon get the start?
Here's the thing. Golden State sure rolled a lot of lineups out there in that first round series. Like, I know some of it was forced, but like, I was like, wait a minit, what is y'all's thing right now? And so I'm in my mind.
in Game 7, those minutes were ridiculous. I was like, what are you doing? Like, we had Maxi Kleba in the Lakers game where it was like, we gave him like a token 5 minutes, and then we're like, yeah, we're done. Kaminga came out there. I was like, this is a bad idea. And he just looked like a fish out of water.
It's a really hard thing when you throw people out in a Game 7 and you have the idea like this is just to like, it's like a middle reliever. Like, we just need to get through these next 2 minutes. Maybe we get a couple strikeouts, right? And I say this, I remember I was in Memphis. We played the Clippers. And I think Hamed Haddadi was out there in Game 7 for like 6 consecutive minutes. And we got killed for it. But I was like, well, the idea was we need to get big fellas some rest. So like we can finish this game out. It's like 60-62. I think we can make it. We didn't make it. But like, it's hard when those things don't happen. You gotta be ready. I would imagine Draymond's on Rudy to start. Now this is where it gets interesting. You might have to start big unless you just put Jimmy on Ant. Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Who guards Randall?
That's a massive question.
See, I think Randall works so much better against the Lakers than he does against.
That's I wanted to get there because to me, the worst possible thing for the team that has Julius Randle is for Randall to get on a hot start. Because then the confidence goes beyond any control, and it's a weird place to be. It's like it's either if he gets to a hot start, or the polar opposite is also bad when he hasn't been involved. Either one of those things brings out a version of Julius Randle that is over-eager, overzealous, and that takes out of what, to me, if you go beat Golden State, you got to execute. You got to execute to beat them. You can't just go out there, roll the ball out, let's just play, let's just hoop, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to get lulled into this weird kind of Lifetime Fitness pickup game, but they're doing shit. They're like this purposeful, it has intent behind it, and you think it's just, oh, no, now it's my turn. And so, to me, Julius Randle is the X factor, but it's all based on like how does Minnesota in some way temper he's not too high and he's not too low, because I think either one of those extremes gets him into a place where his decision making just becomes horrendous.
No, I like that. And now that you said that, I'm thinking, if I'm Golden State, do I give Julius Randle bait?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look, it's Buddy Hield guarding.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It's almost exactly like putting JJ Barea and LeBron, where it's like, we know LeBron does not like going in the post, so let's throw Barea on him, and then he has to like kind of do that, but it's bait, right? It's bait. And
it's different because with LeBron, they were daring him basically, or same thing when Boris was on him, because Boris would just play off of him and say, all right, do something. And then we realized LeBron was kind of limited in terms of what he can do facing, right? But like in this is a different kind of bait. This is come on, yeah, you want the Julius Randle game? Yeah, let Julius Randle, because if the Julius Randle game is happening, guess what's not happening? The Anthony Edwards game, which is way more devastating, way harder to keep contained, because he does so many things dynamically. To me, it's like, yeah, I want Julius Randle because two things. One, it keeps the Anthony Edwards game away. But the other thing is, then it sticks with him. And now he thinks, no, come on, man. Remember when I was eating and then y'all stopped going to me, and like, it's just a whole like second level psychology thing, reverse psychology when you're dealing with Julius Randle. And I say, to be fair, I say this based on watching him with the Knicks. Because that was, 2 years ago when they lost to the Heat in the second round. I'll never forget this. I was at Game 3 in Miami, and the Heat were up big. And then the Knicks made a couple, and like, okay, we got something going, and Hart gets it, and he hits it in transition, and Hart hits another one, and Brunson hits one. I'm like, okay, they got one. And I could see in Julius Randle's eyes, like the moment he touches this ball, I don't give a shit if someone's hit 9 threes in a row. This one's going up. And sure enough, got it. and he did some bullshit ass pump fake, spin move, horseshit, because he hadn't touched the ball. And that was all he was kind of consumed with. And it's one of the reasons why I don't have a lot of confidence in that. Because I think when you get to 7-game series in the playoffs, the need to be thinking about this shit rather than just playing. It's the reason why young players don't do well typically, because they're not used to having, wait, slow down. What are we doing here? Exactly what Steve was talking about, Jalen Green. Like, Draymond's doing something to you on purpose. You think it's like, oh, here we go. It's like, no, he wants you to do this. And so the thing that if I'm Golden State, let's see. So I got Curry on Conley to start, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then do I start Looney? This is where it gets crazy. Like, do you start Looney or do you start small with Draymond and Jimmy? And then if I start small with Draymond and Jimmy, I put Draymond on Rudy just for the fireworks. Just to make it spicy. And then I don't think I put Jimmy on. Or maybe I do put Jimmy on. Now, see, now I'm mind fucking myself. Hold on.
See, right? This is where you get stuck, right? You want Jimmy to roam, but Buddy Hield on Ant?
Yeah.
No.
Nah,
they need Moody to come back and play well again defensively.
So Moody on Edwards. Yeah, Moody on Edwards. Curry on Conley. Draymond on Rudy. And then I got McDaniels and Randall left. So I guess I got to put Brandon on McDaniels. And then Jimmy on Julius Randle? No, but that doesn't achieve what I want. I want Julius. All right, okay. Steve, your turn.
Well, no, I was just saying, what Jimmy can actually probably do the bait thing that you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
As far as him giving a slight bit of disrespect to, go ahead, man. I can eat your drive. So go ahead. You can come hit me. You gonna shoot? You're not gonna shoot. Yeah. Just a couple of those. That's all. Just all he needs, and then the rest of the way you can play it straight up. Go ahead.
What about the other way around? Do you put McDaniels on Steph, or do you go Conley on Steph?
Oh, see, it depends. Like, I wish Steve Kerr would just tell me who he started, so I can figure this out.
He said to us,
"Come on, buddy,
go."
I think he might. There's going to be a lot of switching. So does he want to start with just Mike on Curry and just have that end up being a switch because he's going to move around anyways?
Right.
I just, how much switching is Randall going to do, and how much is he going to be involved in action? That's where I get curious.
And then the next part of it is also what we saw Udoka do was at some point was like, we're putting 2 on Steph. We're forcing that like immediately. And we're hoping that everything stays sound before it can get back to him. So when do you pull that out if you're Minnesota? Or do you play him straight and just switch and hope that's enough?
This is where it's going to be an interesting Rudy Gobert series. Is he ready to defend and get to the level of the screen multiple times? Because that's the thing about Golden State. If you're a big and you're sitting there and you think you've done your job, Steph Curry's flying off a screen, you got to get back up. That opens up a role. We've seen that for how many years now? So I imagine Rudy will start high, at least at the level. Maybe not trap right away, but he's going to have to be up there. He's going to have to get out. And that's going to be the difference for Minnesota. There's not going to be that same kind of comfort where they had rhythm in the Lakers series, where at least we know what we're going to do. And if we get hit, we get hit. They're going to have to fly around a little bit. So I think Rudy will be up, but not trapping right away. I'd probably say like game 3, we might see that.
Steve,
although I will say Minnesota tried so desperately not to trap Luka and almost fell into that trap in game 4, and it almost went bad for him. But continue.
Well, I was just gonna say you were on the bench with Mike Conley, and now he's still starting NBA games in the year 2025. You also, I think that first year with under Dave Yeager, you guys played OKC in the first round with Memphis?
Yep, sure did.
Okay. There's Kevin Durant playing in that game, Russell Westbrook and Steven Adams and Mike Conley. A decade later, which player are you most surprised is playing at the level that they're at? a decade later after being in that series and watching them play. It's 2014 playoffs, KD, Russ.
Tom, you could also throw in Harden, who Steve went to college with. So
it's very true.
That's another guy that was
had to guard that man every day for a year, and then I transferred. I would probably say Steven Adams, just because that type of big usually hasn't aged well, especially these days. So that's probably the most surprising. Mike is Mike, and I think Mike's been way better than people have thought for years. So I'm not surprised by that.
A small guard, it's usually not a long career playing at this level. You just don't see it.
See, that's when I got mad when everyone did their previews and was like, "Can Mike Conley guard Austin Reeves?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think he can."
The people who asked that question, the same people who are trying to say Austin Reeves best third option in the league. That Venn diagram is the same people.
Austin Reeves is talented, but I mean, this guy's had to guard every great guard in the Western Conference forever. I think he'll figure it out. Like, I had confidence. I'm probably more surprised James is shooting mid-range step backs more than anything, but I always knew he'd probably be like this. So I don't know. You know what's surprising? Like, Jared Jackson, assistant coach. I'll tell a quick story. I was in Brooklyn with Jared Jack, and I remember one day we were like practice, just messing around. He's like, "This is what you want to do in life?" I was like, "Yeah." "It's fun for you?" I was like, "Yeah." "All right." And then I look up on my TV and Jared Jack's clapping. And I'm like, man. I'm like, all right, buddy. But no, he gets it in. But that's been the most interesting dynamic, to see players who would think of a certain way about coaching and media do coaching and media with the gleeful smiles on their face. So I'm like, this is a new era.
Loving that shit. That's the crazy. Not that they're doing it, that they love it. Mm-hmm. Out here, I'm like, I remember how you used to be. And they used to be surprised that people would be at the facility like after hours. Like, what are you doing here? Like, what the fuck you think I'm doing, man? My job. My job. That's your job is you do this and then you go home. I don't get to go home. I stay here this whole time.
Is there a player, Steve, that you looked at as a player, you were like, oh, I think he's going to go into coaching. Like, he's going to have a long coaching career. And then he never went into it for reasons. It could be a variety of reasons. Because I remember I saw Chris Paul a couple years ago, and I was like, dude, everyone thinks you're going to be like an amazing head coach, and you're going to be so addicted to the game and the grind and the competition that you got to stay in the game, and you're going to be a great head coach. And he was like, nah, man, too much travel. I want to see my kids grow up, and like I want to be there. I hate being away from home. I kind of feel like he's going to be a great head coach one day, and that it's just going to be very hard for him to not be around the NBA game and the competition. But if he's right, then he's not going to be an NBA head coach. He doesn't want that.
Hey, Tom, the one thing I'll say is, you know what they say about kids, right? They grow up. Right now, that sounds like a good answer because the kid's like 8 or 9 or whatever.
Yeah.
Once they get to be like 15, 16, they're like, get out of my face, man.
You're self-sufficient. Hey, you got any work for me? Probably, I think they went different paths. Tayshaun Prince, he just went the front office route. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I didn't think Mike Miller would coach, but I was like, Mike Miller, he could do it. And I don't think he wants to, but he could. Yeah. He didn't want to.
Agent. He's an agent.
But they're all staying in the game at a high level. Like, damn. Mike Miller being one of the most prominent player agents in the game and has his own podcast.
Again, here we go.
Okay, we need a list of who doesn't have their own podcast at this point. Honestly, if you go to Basketball Reference and pull up a certain All-Star game, how many players don't have a podcast? That's my new game.
I'm gonna play this game right now. Hold on. Bear with me here. 2007 All-Star game. Here we go. Let's go. At the Mud is the name of the podcast. All right. So Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul, but he kind of had, Detail was kind of like a very video heavy podcast, but a podcast nonetheless. I'm sure after the pandemic, it would have evolved into a lot more interview based. Tracy McGrady, no, although he doesn't have a podcast, but he has people that he does who has They do content for him because he's got that one-on-one league, and he's also on the agency side or whatever. But periodically, I see these like interviews with Tracy McGrady, and it's just him at a gym. So I'm like, I think that kind of counts. Dirk, Amazon, does that count? Doing play-by-play or whatever, all right? Tim Duncan is a no. KG is an absolute yes. Carmelo is a yes. Tony Parker, I think, has one in French. Not sure. Sean Marion, no. Ray Allen, no. Amari Stoudemire, no. Josh Howard.
Tony Parker, Le Podcast.
And then Mehmet Okur rounds out your Western Conference All-Stars. In the East, you have LeBron, yes. Dwayne Wade, yes. Chris Bosh. Does Bosh have one?
I don't think so.
No.
Gilbert Arenas, yes. Shaquille O'Neal, yes. Jermaine O'Neal, no. Dwight Howard, no, although freaking collaborator. Joe Johnson, no, and thank God. Yeah, I mean, look, Joe's great. No, Joe's great, but come on, he's not a talker. Steve, you gonna put Joe? You put a microphone in front of Joe?
He's not a talker. He's a hooper.
You're gonna get like 5 words out of him, right?
You were going to get one clip out of Joe Johnson. One clip. I think my favorite Joe Johnson moment was on the road in Brooklyn. I was up at like 4:30 in the morning to get ready to clip some film. And I open up the elevator. It's just Joe Johnson, sweaty with a yoga mat. No words were exchanged. He just nodded on his way out. And I was like, yep. That's Joe. So I don't think
that's a long, heartfelt conversation for Joe Johnson. Head nod.
Great guy, though.
Yeah, great guy. And then as we go on here, let's see. Vince Carter, no. Does media work. Caron Butler, no. Miami Woodland. And then Richard Hamilton I think is a no. But that's a strong 60%.
Vince Carter, the VC show with Vince Carter.
Okay.
So yes.
Corrected.
And you said Caron Butler, right? Isn't he?
Yeah. No, he's assistant coach with the Heat. Then he might have had one at one point, but not anymore.
It's one of the great mysteries.
He had probably the Tough Juice podcast 4 years ago.
I probably can't listen to Vince Carter's podcast because he blocked me on Twitter. So
that's one of the great mysteries.
What did you do to Vince?
I have no idea. Still, it's a great mystery. I have never. He was my favorite player as a kid. Like all my tweets have always been like praising Vince Carter. Like I have posters in my room of me drawing Vince Carter, cover of Sports Illustrated. Like I was obsessed with this guy. There's the Ringer. The Ringer did the AOL screen name. Like what was your first AOL AIM screen name? Mine was #1 heel fan. Okay, that's my flex is like I was the #1 heel fan who got blocked by Vince Carter. It's very upsetting to me.
But that's not how you identify. And maybe when you were a child, yes, but as an adult, you talk a lot of that Wake Forest bullshit. Maybe that's why you're looking behind them. You get the Muggsy Bow.
Okay, so how did you discover this though? And was that a moment of pain?
But huge pain. I was like out of the movies. I'm like tearing down, like tears are coming down my face. I'm tearing down the posters. I'm like having a vigil where I'm just like lighting my paintings on fire of Vince Carter, and I'm just like,
your wife is like, "Are you okay?"
No, I'm not okay. All right, what happened? Vince Carter blocked me on Twitter. I don't know to this day, and like he's in Atlanta, so I could feasibly like at the next Hawks game or just whatever. I don't think he's coming down to Charlotte.
Pull up on
it. Yo, what's the deal? And he probably has no idea. He has no idea who I am. But it hurts me in my soul. So,
like, maybe I remember he's like, I remember what you wrote about Andre Drummond.
I don't know, man. It pains me to this day. So, Steve, you're looking at this Indiana-Cleveland series. Indiana beats them at Cleveland. Darius Garland's not playing. What did you see in that game that can have some carryover into game 2? Because I thought it was just make or miss league. Like one team could shoot the shit out of the ball and the other one could not hit anything. And when you lose 30 points in the 3-point column, it's going to be tough to win a game. But there's schematics underneath that. What did you see?
I mean, I was watching it back again today, and I think the biggest thing I've learned in this playoffs, the Indiana Pacers are such a machine on offense. And I got the Cavs are not the Bucks, and this is a different series. But there were moments with how the Pacers were making the Cavs rotate that reminded me of the first round series. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Y'all are unsure about some of these coverages. Y'all are getting beat by drive and kick. Y'all are over helping. Indiana can get whatever shot they want. Indiana just punishes breakdowns. And so the way they treated Jared Allen, and I think Tyrese Halliburton deserves a lot of credit for how he diagnoses the court. Like, I don't know if he gets enough of the quarterback love as far as him being able to see what a defense is doing, get the ball where it needs to go and play. But like, they tried to do hey, Jared Allen, you go on Pascal Siakam, and Tyrese is like, cool. You come in action. Are you on the level, or we're going to skip it? We're going to pass the ball. I'm going to drive and kick. I'm going to be aggressive and get to my shot when I need to. And they just are able to move the ball from side to side, force Cleveland to defend, force them to sustain defense. And any breakdown, they just get you. And like the shots from Nembhard, from Neesmith, those back-breaking end-of-clock threes, those add up over the course of a game. You never really feel it in the moment, like, ooh, that's a tough shot. But those are like good Cleveland defensive reps that are ending in Indiana points. And I think one of the things is like Indiana, we talk about their pace. We got to talk about their tempo. Like, they get the ball up the court so quick. So with 21 on the clock, they're already starting to get into something. As a defense, if you look at the first 12, 14 seconds of what a defense has to guard against Indiana, they've put pressure on you. And so you've had to guard 2-3 actions. And now you have to finish the stop. And they have these off-ball flare screens. They have the cutting. They're able to get to drive and kick. If you make a mistake, they just hurt you so quickly. And so that, to me, is my takeaway, is that Cleveland just got to be a little bit better defensively. Like, I don't think they were ready for Indiana's just continuous pace. Like, they tried to press Halliburton, right? And it was one of the funniest things. Halliburton would just point to someone, like, throw it there, and then I'll go get the ball, and then we'll just get right back to business. Like, that's not going to work against us. I think Cleveland tried a box and one at one point for a single possession with Sam Merrill denying. And Bennett Mathurin cut back doors, a skip pass for a three. And it's like, you can't do that either. So it was more so that I think, one, I hope Cleveland gets healthy. Like, they need Darius Garland. They need DeAndre Hunter. They need Evan Mobley. I don't even know what's going on in Cleveland, but they need to be healthy. But I think the interesting part for Cleveland, it was the first game it felt like their tempo was a little off. They were a little slow. The ball wasn't moving from side to side as much. And when they drove the ball, Indiana worked to stay at home. So they didn't have the drive and kick layer that they usually do. So they got 70 points in the paint, but they couldn't make any threes because the threes they generated weren't the same kinds they usually do. It was Max Strus saying, yep, I'm here, or Donovan saying, yep, I'm here, but it wasn't the same kind of flowy that they had during the regular season.
I'm glad you honed in on that, because this is now the second straight year where during the regular season, Indiana is at best the middle of the road defense. And second straight playoffs where I'm watching them, and they go through these stretches where they're really good defensively. Like, they're versatile, and they've got multiple guys that shut down point of attack. And so how much of this is just the simplicity of playoff basketball, where I don't have to worry about where we are tomorrow? I'm just worried about one opponent at a time, or is Indiana just an underachieving defense in the regular season?
Dude, I want to say it's a mix of both, but I'd probably say I've always liked them better in a playoff context where we can focus in on this. This is what we are willing to give up. Everything else, we're fine. So there's a certainty to it. In the regular season, they don't have that same base of certainty, and they're not as strong of a base defensively. So it's not like, when they're, playing and pressuring the ball, they get beat on a drive, the rotation is not the same. They don't look as good. But in this game, as you mentioned, where they look good, it was we're denying, we're physical, we're taking away your movement, we're getting you deep in the clock, because this is what we're willing to give up. And pick and roll, we know exactly what we have to do. And so I think the biggest thing in the playoffs is, like, when you have that game plan, it's not necessarily that it's always going to work, but there's a certainty behind it as far as we're giving these shots up. This is the poison we've chosen. And it's on the other team to make you be like, actually, you should probably reconsider. That's not a good idea. But if they don't do that, we're locked in. Like, this is what we're doing. We're going to be active. We're going to be in your chest. We're not going to let you feel comfortable. So I think that's Indiana's, that's their plus in the playoffs. They know exactly what they want to do defensively. And then offensively, it's very rare that teams put them in a box. It's very rare they feel uncomfortable in the playoffs, outside of maybe Boston at times. Outside of that, they just kind of go.
Welcome to Sephora. I'm looking for a perfume that's not too perfumey.
I got you.
Serum moisturizer or moisturizer serum.
Let's get into layering.
My concealer is making me look worse.
Sounds like the wrong shade. Let's get you matched.
There's only one store that really gets what you're going for. Get beauty from people who get beauty. Only at Sephora.
Hi, Let's get you a basket.
Whether your business has 6 floors or 6 employees, Walmart Business has everything you need to save time, money, and hassle. You can restock your break room with bulk ordering or bulk up your ordering team with shared payments. And you can get it all delivered straight to your business's door, whether that's on Wall Street or Main Street. Walmart Business. It's the Walmart you love, now for your business. Learn more at business.walmart.com.
Are your business expenses playing hide and seek? With Uber for Business, the small spends that slip through the cracks, like rides and meals, go right where you need them. Because it integrates with leading expense platforms, you can say goodbye to surprise costs, missing dollars, or chasing receipts. Everything's track downable. Uber for Business. Make small steps that make a big impact. Learn more at uber.com/small steps.
Don't chew on that, Max.
Cooper loves that chew too.
Oh, now he's into Cooper's food. Wow, he is loving it. What do you feed Cooper?
Blue Buffalo Life Protection Formula. He never leaves a crumb. I love it because it's made with high-quality protein, nutrient-rich fruits and veggies, and wholesome whole grains.
Looks like we're switching to Blue.
Blue Buffalo foods are made with the superior ingredients your dog needs to thrive. Can your dog food say that? Visit feedbluefood.com to learn more.
Are you a forward thinker? Then you need an HR and finance platform that thinks like you do. Workday is the AI platform that helps propel your organization, your workforce, and your industry into the future. Workday, moving business forever forward.
Steve, I'm wondering, when you were a coach, you're in the locker room, you're on the bus, you're at the hotel. Come playoff time, how much does the media matter? Because Tyrese Halliburton, after he won that game, tweets out, overrate that.
Well, that's
And
not
that
the
was
media.
like
Hold on.
I know.
That's his boys.
Hey,
That's his
the Athletic
peers.
posted it. Okay, they did the survey. The players obviously voted that, but he took that as bulletin board material and said overrate that. After Anthony Edwards beat the Lakers, he's saying mocking Shannon Sharp, Lakers in 5. As a motivating factor in the playoffs to get the players to do what you want them to do is, here's the scouting report, here's what we need you to do. How much of the motivating factor is like, they don't believe that you guys can win this series, or they don't think you can guard this guy? Like, how do you use like bulletin board material as a leverage point to get players to listen or do what you want them to do without them thinking they're doing that because they want you to do it as an X's and O's thing? Is it more like proving people wrong?
Well, one, the best is when the players do it on their own and you just hear about it, or you hear them start talking a certain way. You know what they said about you, right? That's the funniest one, is when they kind of do that. But I think you're always trying to find a way to gain a competitive edge and tap into these guys' brain in a way that no one believes in us. And so a little bit of an advantage, because I was in Memphis, so you could just tap that button every single day in some way, shape, or form, and just tap Tony Allen on the shoulder and be like, they don't think you can guard this really good player. You can't guard KD. Hey, Mike, they don't think you can guard Russ. Hey, big fella, they don't think you can score on Serge Ibaka. Like, it was just easy to just kind of just tap those guys and be like, hey, chip on shoulder. And so they would just take the ownership. I think on the other side, shout out, you mentioned the Memphis OKC series. Shout out to whoever wrote that article on the day of Game 6 about Kevin Durant, I forgot what they called him.
Mr. Unreliable.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It came out in the middle of the day. I was folding laundry, getting ready to take a nap, and I had SportsCenter on the background, and then that popped up, Mr. Unreliable. And I'm like,
it's Barry Thamel, right?
Barry wrote it, but the editor it wasn't him.
Yeah, as the journalism rule, we don't write our headlines.
My heart sunk in my chest. I think I left the laundry out. I was like, oh man, I just hope we're in trouble. And then we lost game 6 and the rest is history. But I think it's like, it's less the media and more just like they are able to grasp onto something and know, hey.
Doubters, haters, whatever you want to call it. People who doubt your abilities.
Well, also athlete brain is kind of messed up. In a way. Like I remember back when I played in college, if you didn't say hi to me the right way, I used that as fuel. Like you said good morning to someone else in the hall and then I walk by you like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, all right, man.
Let's go.
I'll see you in practice. You know what I mean? It doesn't take much to build a chip on the shoulder.
Yeah, and in playoff time, I feel like you got to tap into all of those reservoirs, right? Is because it's in some ways you have to make it personal because it brings out the best in some of the players, but maybe not for every player. I don't know if you have a particular story about when
they're going the wrong way.
Bulletin board material gone bad. Where
like, maybe they do, maybe they're right.
Let's see. How can I phrase this? There was a guard when I was in Brooklyn who didn't enjoy the start of the playoffs and the conversation around him. And then had one really good game in the first round against the Hawks. Darren Williams.
Darren?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's man, one day scientists are going to explain to me what happened to Darren Williams, man. Was it just, he just needed the flex offense? That was it? That was the undoing?
Oh, man. We tried.
I could see the pain in Steve's face, just like, wasn't the flex?
Maybe
tried that.
Maybe we just run some flex for him. He'll feel that more at home again. Oh,
you just triggered me because that was literally an entire meeting.
God damn.
Now, if we put these actions in, I think if we do that, yeah. What you mean Joe's gonna be mad? He'll be all right. He'll still get it. No, I'll get him in the post. We'll be fine. But no,
he do his yoga. He'll be fine. Yeah.
No, he was not getting talked about well in the first 2 games. And he went 1 of 8 when we came back home, won the game. Then he scored like 35 in Barclays. And it was like, oh my God, we got a chance. We lost in 6 games.
Yeah. The playoffs, man. I love this time of year.
Looking at your roster there. Brooke, Bojan, Darren, right?
Yep.
Joe?
Yep.
Joe's there.
And for some reason, the next thing that's coming to mind is like Jorge Gutierrez.
No, we had Thaddeus because we had KG. We traded him.
That's right.
Earl Clark.
Paul Westphal was on your bench?
Yeah, he was. Legendary guy.
Great. Yeah, man. That's El Trey be bringing the band back together.
Man,
Lana always brings the old reliables, man.
That was a blessing. The top basketball Paul West, man. Yeah. I was so lucky to do that. That was tremendous. He was just a great human.
R.I.P.
Rest his soul. Yeah, Earl Clark got us in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to make the roster. He's on the 10-day, won us a game, and we squeaked it at the end. Shout out to Earl Clark.
Shout out to Earl Clark. That's my guy. Drafted him in Phoenix. That was one of my pet projects.
Did you know Jeff Teague had this in him? This podcast career. Speaking of players who have podcasts, did you have any clue? Because you guys played them Atlanta in that first round series, right? And then that was Al Horford, that was Jeff Teague, Paul Millsap, Kyle Korver. Did Jeff talk as much shit as it seems like? In every one of these clips, he's always talking shit to the other team.
I couldn't hear it. I didn't know he had this in him. It makes sense now when you look back at it, but he just looked like he was going fast and going in and out and trying to get to a pull up. I didn't see all this in him. I had a deep dislike for that team because in my brain I was like, they're not that good, but I could not say it because they were very good and we weren't very good, so we couldn't beat them. But we came close, and it's just like there's nothing about that when you're on that side where it's like this team is not that good, and I got nothing to show for it. Nothing to show for it.
You went 2-2. Okay. So you You tied up 2-2. Lost by 7 game 1, lost by 5 game 2, so it's close. Yeah, and then you take the next 2 games. I mean, that's a close series for a 1-8. You guys had them on the ropes.
Man, it's the game 2 loss. I just remember being very sad eating the Chick-fil-A provided by Atlanta. And then I learned a harsh lesson about elimination games, right? It can go one way, it can also go the other very quickly. I'm sitting there like, oh, we got a shot. We're going to take it back to Atlanta. We good. I look up, we down by 15. I'm like, hey, hey.
That's tough.
That's the worst. That's the worst feeling.
I saw Tari Eason on the sidelines, like getting consoled by Jabari Smith, and I was like,
I felt bad, man. I felt bad because it hit home. Like for these guys, this is their first rodeo, right? And the only thing they have to compare it to is probably like March Madness. Mm-hmm. And in March Madness, you see that all the time. Team gets eliminated, guys crying on the sideline. Like in an NBA setting, I was like, "That's what the fuck? Is he crying?" Then I was like, I mean, like, you don't know any better, man. Like, this is for him. This is kind of like the most crushing moment because again, you go to a 7th game, you're at home. This is what you played all year long for. I'm sure that's what Coach said, man. We played all year long, so we would have this game 7. We would host this, and for it to be a close game and like, oh man, we're not so great, but like. We've withstood everything and then one guy gets a cramp, and then one guy gets a clear path, and then all of a sudden, this is the thing I keep going back to. All these guys are young guys, right? Tari Eason, Jalen Green, Amin Thompson, whatever. Meaning, most of them will probably be about 8 to 11 years old when Steph put Delly in a hospital. And so at some point in a play, I said this when they played the Kings in a game 7 a couple years ago. At some point, you realize, oh, I'm not competing against Steph Curry that I played against all year long. And so what? Big deal. I played against him. Like, oh, shit, that's that monster from the movie that I saw when I was a kid. Freddy Krueger's here. Like, man, that first possession when Thompson went out, or Steph grabbed the rebound and saw Jalen Green on him. And the whole time, all the way up the court, I was like, oh, shit, man. His whole body language changed. It's like, I'm about to fuck this kid up right now. And between the legs, step back. And my father was sitting on the couch, and even my dad was like, woo! Because he shot that shit the arc on it was crazy. It's one of those things, I think it's the single greatest advantage that this Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and the Warriors have, is that when things start going their way in a tense playoff situation, there's I've seen it with Michael Jordan 20, 30 years ago. People start to realize, fuck, that thing that I saw on that tape, come fly with me and all that shit. Oh, now I'm in that tape. It's like watching the Twilight Zone and then realizing, oh, I'm not watching it. I'm in it. I'm the guy that's going to get, stabbed or drowned or whatever. And I think in those moments, that's part of what allows for that swelling of confidence on one side and that shrinking on the other. It's that they've seen it before, but they hadn't seen it like sitting at home because we got eliminated, or seen it like, oh, I was on the bench and this happened to me before. Something about when you saw when you were a kid and realized he's still doing this shit right now. Something else, man.
See, something I deal with a lot is like looking at the matchups and going back to the regular season, looking at the the season series, looking at who was on the floor. 10 years ago, that was really useful, is to go back to the season series. Mm-hmm. And now, with the Stars missing so many of these games and these trades like Luka to the Lakers and Jimmy to the Warriors, right? I find myself becoming more grasping at straws on what to like go off of in these series, because the data just isn't there. The film just isn't there. You could say like, oh, when these two teams match up, this is how Jimmy was playing. But Jimmy hasn't played against this Timberwolves team. So you don't have that tape. Is that as frustrating for you operating more as a film guy than, say, me, who's like more into the numbers and looking at the data? Like, how frustrating is that you're kind of making predictions on what will happen, not because it did happen in the regular season, but you're kind of taking these puzzle pieces that were in different puzzle piecing boards and you're kind of fitting them all together in the postseason?
It's the adjustment for sure, especially over the last 2-3 years, where you're gonna I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna break down this clip. The series coming up, let's go. Check the box score. Oh, they didn't play. That's cool. Let me go to this other one. Oh, these guys didn't play. So it's like, which game do I want to see? How much of a concept can I understand what they try to do? You know, it's like. Actually, for most of these semifinals, I was in that box where it's like, okay, Cleveland and Indiana really haven't played each other. So I can kind of watch the latest game to kind of see attempts, and I can kind of see what they tried to do to try to read. So I'm not going to have an answer. So you kind of, for me, film-wise, I have to widen it to just the overall concepts as opposed to where you kind of poke at, they specifically did this.
Is it at that point, does if you're throwing the head-to-head out, is the recency take more precedence?
See, that's where the recency helps because I know what they're doing right now.
Right.
And then it's just trying to figure out, is there something they tried to do to each other? And then you kind of try to marry the two in a sense. So that's where
it's got to be maddening though. You guys as video coordinators, you could basically go into a series matchup and know like these guys are going to be playing because they played in the regular season and we know what they like to do. But now I kind of feel like a lot of that is just a mystery.
It is. But I think, you know what? See, you triggered a memory, video coordinators. I used to always have a backup edit for if a star player was going to be out because I knew the coach wouldn't have it. So
absolutely. Absolutely, because then they get the he's back. And it's like, shit. Like, yes, you got to absolutely have that one ready. You got to prep as if he's there.
So yeah, Tom, my theory, I'm going off track, but like the toughest game to win for people is when star players are out because the prep has not been done properly because I've seen it with my own eyes where, you've not actually watched this team. So you have no idea what they look like without Cade Cunningham or insert star here, right? They're a little different.
There are those Ja Morant games where he was out and then the Grizzlies would just win without him, and everybody's worried because he's gone. But then Desmond Bane steps up. All of a sudden, it's working.
But yeah, it's frustrating because you want to gain an edge and have a thought, but it's also a good challenge. I think for me recently, I think the last couple of years, it's been fun to like walk into a series with an open mind to a degree. Like Denver OKC, I don't know what that's going to look like. I think there's 4 things you could try. Which one do I think is best? And so I can kind of talk through it a little bit more as opposed to they did this and they did that and they're going to do this. And then they don't do it because it's the playoffs. So it's like a mental exercise, but I hate it. I would love to be able to actually see what they've done and not have to go to January to see Draymond on the court at the same time as Anthony Edwards because he didn't play.
OKC especially, right? Steve is like, they had Hartenstein for half the year and Chet for half the year. And then like the last month they were playing them both. For OKC, those 4 players, Jalen Williams, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet, and Hartenstein. On the other side, Jokic and Murray. Those 6 players have been on the floor this season for 24 minutes against each other. 24.
Who won,
and
Tom?
I was like, OKC won by 16 in those minutes.
There you go. Plus
140 offensive rating with those 4 dudes going against Jokic and Jamal Murray, by the way. But some of those, Aaron Gordon wasn't there. So then you got to take away almost all of those 24 and be like, we literally have not seen these 4 and these 3 on the court together in this amazing matchup. And so it's just 24 minutes. That's all we have.
Steve, one last question for you from me. James Harden, obviously not the Game 7 performance that he would have liked to have. But the big thing for the Clippers is he has the ability to become a free agent. He can opt out of his deal. I believe it's $34 million on the table for him. If you were James Harden, would you opt out? And if you're the Clippers and he opted out, how much would you pay to keep him?
You'll want to pay enough to where you are not talked about all summer long. I'll put it that way. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I probably would opt. Like, if you opt out, what are you getting? 2 years? That's the balance, right?
Yeah. Like you're trying to lock in some guaranteed years, basically, is what you're doing. Maybe a 3-year deal, depending on on the market.
But see, that's the thing. The market is so different these days.
Right.
I feel like a lot of it is just trades. Like, who has the cap space to sound people outright? So it's like
it's all sign and trades now.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, do you just opt out, go for 2+1 around the same mark? You know what I mean? The 30-ish range. Like, I think that's where he's at right now. I know he probably believes he's up more, but I think if you're the Clippers, we want to pay you, but this is what we're paying. I might opt in, honestly.
See, if I'm the Clippers, I'm thinking like I come to him with like, let's do 3 years, 100, or just keep it right around this 33-ish range, and that allows us to still have the flexibility to continue to do things to improve the team. I think if you go north of that, now you're in trouble.
It's hard to imagine teams not extending contracts to a degree, because I feel like they want to keep control of the
cost certainty,
the talent, and we know what we have, and if we have to make a deal, we know it's out there. So that probably makes a lot of sense. He's getting destroyed for that game 7, but the game 6, they needed it.
Yeah. Well, this is my thing when it comes to him and elimination games, is that at this point, rightly or wrongly, there's a reputation out there. You get to game 7, and the game starts going sideways. You can't end that game with 8 field goal attempts. You can't, because Monday morning, they're not going to be talking about, man, I can't believe Norm Powell didn't show up. I can't believe Derrick Jones
He
Jr.
had 13 assists, and no one gives a flying F.
That's my point. That's my point.
No one cares.
My point is, you can't play, though. I just took what the defense gave me. Right? As any superstar, I don't believe in an elimination game, you get to play like that. If it's going sideways, we'd rather see you go 2 for 19 than 2 for 8, right? Because then it's like he did everything, right? He tried everything. When you're playing this, doing this thing right here, the burden then becomes on other people to continue to do the right thing, even though if they don't, no one's going to remember. No one remembers how I'll go a month from now, I'll ask people, how did Chris Dunn play? Chris Dunn played well, by the way. But like, I'll ask that a month from now, people won't remember. They'll remember that he didn't play well. James Harden didn't play well. And so for me, like, I think there comes a time for the superstar in general where if it's going sideways, you have to abort and you got to pull the lever and just try everything. Because the flip side is you don't walk away with the benefit of the doubt, right? For that particular superstar, though, it's happened so many times that I felt like I'm the last person to be like, no, it's not true. Oh, y'all forgot about the good games he had. And now I'm sitting there watching, like you said, game 6 and game 7. I'm like, this is how we doing this shit, man? This is how you going out, huh?
I did some research, Amin. Maybe we should get into that.
Yep.
A little bit. Right. But I want to get Steve out of here with a thought. Can you talk to your colleague LeBron and get him on Basketball Illuminati? What do you think? LeBron James. I don't know if you knew.
Wait, which one?
Is there a different?
Oh, the senior. Yeah.
Senior. Yeah, we want senior on the show.
Good luck with that. No comment.
The way Steve looked to the side, I like that LeBron was here the whole time.
Yeah, LeBron was over there.
The next cubicle at 342 Productions.
You'll have to ask Nikias Duncan. I don't have the juice, brothers.
What does that look like? You doing your own research? Are you doing studies yourself? Are you in the lab on a nightly basis? What are you doing?
Do your own research.
Do your own research.
Do your own research.
Do your own research. Doing your own research.
I'm not a scientist. I'm not here to tell everyone that this is it. For me, it's just giving everyone a chance to do their own research and find their own knowledge.
Amin, I know you're going to like this. Because you were on James Harden Island, right?
I was one of the last ones. It was real deserted, and I kept making. I said, "Man, look, he's played well before. You guys just don't remember the good games and stuff." Or there have been years where, like, well, of course he's played. He's the only guy in the league who's played like 82 games at 38 minutes when everyone else is like getting load managed. Of course he's tired by the end of all this. But man, Saturday, I watched that game, and this is, by the way, right before our Count the Dings live show in Los Angeles. So I had to watch this with a crowd of people who are all talking shit. Not to me, because they don't know. I was secretly on James Harden Island, but talking shit nonetheless.
Well, after that game, I went into the lab and I wanted to look and do some research. So I did some research into James Harden because I was like, I wonder if he's not like the third worst Game 7 performer of all time, he's got to be like bottom 10, bottom 5. Turns out, do you know who is the all-time leading steals per game guy in Game 7s in NBA history?
James Harden.
James Harden.
Yeah. There you go. I'm back.
2.6 steals per game in 7 Game 7s in his career.
That's really good.
Do you know who averages as many blocks in those Game 7s as Tim Duncan in Game 7s? Tied for 12th among 95 players with at least 5 Game 7s under their belt. Who is averaging 1.3 blocks in the postseason in Game 7s?
James Harden.
It's James Harden.
There you go.
Do you know who has more assists per game in Game 7s than Nikola Jokic, than LeBron James, than Larry Bird? Basically everybody not named Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, and Rajon Rondo.
James Harden. All right.
Pause it to you.
These are all stuff I would have been very confident about had you told me before that Game 7.
And he did well in the non-shooting, non-scoring categories. Yeah. He had 13 assists, 2 turnovers, setting up everybody in the first quarter. Sure. He had 6 assists in the first quarter alone. And it felt like we were getting aggressive James Harden, or at least high-impact James Harden. And then halfway through the second quarter, he just stopped trying. And he was 0 for 2 in the second half. I looked at the numbers, and turns out his Game 7 game score, meaning like his PER, all-in-one metric, single game productivity, his Game 7 productivity is only 8% lower than it is in all other playoff games. And that's actually a smaller decline than guys like Jokic, than guys like Kobe Bryant. It is very middle of the pack. James Harden is not the choker that it seems like everyone's talking about today, based on his full box score. And the thing is, everything that he's good at in Game 7s is not what he's normally good at. They want him to score. In the regular season, he's a guy who averaged 36 points a game, 3-time scoring leader.
Tom, my third eye is tingling right now. Is it a different James Harden in Game 7s?
A different James Harden?
You said he's doing all the things that he doesn't do the rest of the playoffs? He doesn't do in normal games? He steals, blocks. He's got crazy high assists, even more than normal. What's going on? Who is it?
I think it's the refs.
Whoa.
The refs, I think, have an outsized influence on James Harden's offensive attack than most players. Not because they're doing him wrong, but because James Harden is the #1 foul hunter on the three-point line in NBA history. He has 5 of the top seasons in fouled three-pointers. Amin, when you take that away from James Harden in the postseason, his game changes.
Yes. I used to have this theory about Kevin Martin. Kevin Martin was not a good postseason player because Kevin Martin, so much of his offense was dependent on getting a good whistle. And that good whistle then forced defenses to defend him less stringently. And then that allowed him to do all the other shit he would do in a regular season game. But in the playoffs, because they don't call as much, there would be no reaction from the defense to the tighter whistle. So then those openings that Martin was searching for were not quite as available. And you're saying to me that the same thing, the same issue afflicts James Harden, perhaps?
22% three-point shooter in Game 7s all time.
Yikes.
He has the most Game 7 misses ever. 45 missed three-pointers. And I think there is a connection between that and the fact that he doesn't get those 3-shot fouls in Game 7s. In 7 Game 7s in his career, he's gotten 2 3-shot fouls in 7 games. Compare that to the regular season, in which after the All-Star break, James Harden tallied 26 fouled three-pointers when no other player in the league had more than 11.
Wow. Now, you know what's funny, Tom? What I wonder about now, is that a function of refs not calling it the same regular season or postseason, or is it a function of when we're playing in the playoffs, we're getting the best refs. And the best refs aren't falling for the shit that the regular season bigger ref pool does follow.
That would be a great study, is who is calling those fouls, right? Like if it's the umpire, the third string, third tier referee in that referee crew, I would posit that some of the shenanigans that James Harden pulls is easily trapping some, inexperienced officials. But in that game against Denver, there was a second quarter possession where Russell Westbrook is on James Harden's hip. It's a 6-point game. James Harden tries to get the 3-shot foul, falls down on the ground, ball misses, bounces all the way out to James Harden, and James Harden's on his ass. Aaron Gordon scoops it up. He kicks it ahead to Russell Westbrook, who goes up, gets fouled at the rim for a fast break. Makes the first, misses the second, jumps over James Harden to get the putback. James Harden misses the box out assignment. It's an 8-point game. And the Nuggets never look back. I think that was the James Harden experience in a nutshell, is that call that they did not make. The referee, Courtney Kirkland's watching him the whole time. James Harden, if he's not able to get those calls,
murder she wrote,
because of inexperienced referees in the regular season or experienced referees in the postseason, they're not giving him that call anymore. It changes everything for James Harden. I think part of him knows that, and that's why he's become a better defender or a better rebounder or a better passer, shifts into passing mode. Because I think deep down inside, maybe James Harden knows. Like Billy Beane said, my shit don't work in the playoffs.
Oh, no. Billy Beane said that?
I think he said that. At least Brad Pitt might have said that.
My shit don't work in the playoffs.
Damn, that is tough. I like Amin's speculation that the refs are better. We should definitely dust off the old research machine, Tom. You got to dive back into our ref scores.
Oh, yeah.
For this year at some point. But I'm wondering if he's going for it more flagrantly, like trying to grift even harder in these games, and it's not working. I'm wondering if he's adapting to the fact.
Hardener,
even more Hardener in the playoffs in Game 7.
Also, to Amin's point, defenses, Denver Nuggets know, like, hey, if Harden falls and they don't get the call,
go. Drown him.
We'll work on Steve Nash first, right? I mean, we can maybe go through your channels and Steve.
We can, but Maze is going to have to up the volume on the supercharge his mic or something, because it's going to be a lot of low talking.
Steve Jones 20 on X. My guy, thank you for coming on. Appreciate you. Go check out the Dunker Spot podcast. Excellent work there. And you got Trey Murphy now on the pod, which is amazing.
The Trey Murphy. The pride and joy of Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
I'm glad you said the Trey Murphy, because he's also one of these Trey Murphy the third.
Oh, man.
Which one are we talking about here?
No, hold on. You got to cut all that, because my brain just had a complete short circuit.
You think about the lefty?
You thought Troy Murphy?
The Warrior.
I said Troy Murphy. Problem is, I see Steve and my brain goes to the 2000s automatically.
Yeah.
My brain goes to 2005.
Yeah.
That's on me. I knew what you meant too. I was like, yeah, strong left-hand driver, but I was like, I can't say that out loud. So we good. Hey,
See this football? This is the one where Peyton Manning threw it and the guy caught it in the back of his helmet. Keep it. Can I have 1 minute? Just love to talk to my partners. You got it. Take your time. I'll be over here. Oh, boy.
Man,
What do you guys think?
I don't want to say anything, but I think he means Eli Manning and not Peyton Manning, you know?
Yeah, maybe